how can I go and just find someone's building and just paint it?
Yeah,
but that's the spirit of graffiti. You can have that aspect of you, or you stick to community graffiti where you only work with topics that are about your community and that you know that you're comfortable and in a space that you know that that you're working in within. But I like your approach of like, you know, it's not only that work that you're doing, you're looking at, but you also go out and try to sell your work to other people and try to collaborate. I think, for me, I really think you can grow as an artist, and I think you can also expound on your skill as a graffiti artist, but you just need to invest in yourself more. As much as you're struggling and trying to, you know, make ends meet, you can also try to stick out what are other graffiti artists doing, who is trending, what are they working on, and how can I get to that level? Where can I sell my work? Or where can I present yourself? You apply to festivals, you apply to graffiti programs, you try to, you know, get out of this comfort zone. I'm not saying it's your comfort zone, but get out of this community and take your work out. And then later on you realize that actually it will give you much more impact with the work that you've done in the community.
And seek for opportunities to land as much as possible, and look for people like Faisal. Now you've met Faisal, you can write to Faisal and say, I want to join one of the programs at Bayimba, you know, to land. And then, you know, more education you have, more exposure you have. So those are the opportunities you have to get your work outside there.
Betancourt is an old name. It's my father's name. My father was Brazilian, 100%.
Yes.
But Betancourt has a French origin.
Yeah.
And it's a name from the north of France at the time of what they call the Middle Age.
Yes.
And they say that there was one of those small kingdoms at that time. There were many.
Yes.
And the king had a bastard son.
Yeah.
And so this bastard son, they used to call him Bête en cour.
Yeah, Bête en cour.
Yeah, cour means court.
Yes.
And Bête means that it's a bit not very depreciative way of calling it. It's a bastard son.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was like the bastard in court.
Yeah.
So Betancourt becomes the name. And this name, at the time of the big discoveries, somehow came through the Canarian Islands, which are in the middle of Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
So you find Betancourt people, Spanish.
Yeah.
And then they came to South America. So you find people with the same name in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia. It's spread.
Yeah,
all
at some
over.
point I thought it was you know, it was a Spanish name, and then to note that you have a French origin, so it's confusing. So that's
my French side. I don't have the family name of my mother. It's my father.
So what would be your surname? Is it Jean Philippe? Which one is the surname? Like Eddie Okila, which one is yours?
No, my Okila is Betancourt. Yes.
Ah, okay.
Jean Philippe is my Christian name, is my Baptist name.
My dream is for guys to be like me. We have coronavirus. Our parents are like I left with nothing in the pocket. Me, I did sciences and I passed. But I had no money for the university. There are guys there at the university, they don't know what's next. So we welcome them to coffee. And we get to know how the skill is going to push their lives forward. So through coffee, everything is possible. For example, the girl child. Concentrate more on the girl child.
I'm glad that you actually brought that up.
The girl child. Like, though that is the gender that we all need to help faster. Because we guys, we can plan any gig and get it by the girl child. Like, we don't want our girls to be used in order to get money. But we can train them how they can earn money for themselves. A good woman in coffee is a good entrepreneur. They are our big ladies in the industry. And I think you know them.
Some of them.
Some of them. But I use those ladies as examples to the girl child when I'm training them. Like, I train them not to be hunters that have now non-roasting. What's next? Now, I trained you to know the roasting stage and where you can get something for your pocket. Every lady that you enter in someone's office with a coffee mind, it will be like a surprise to the boss or to the person or to the customer she has gone to. So the girl child mainly, like I want the girl child to enter more in coffee. Like we want more girls in the industry. Yes. And the girl child that is a good roaster, like 5 millions abroad.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials. And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
And now DIT, that's the reason why DIT is coming in, because we've tried to create this awareness that the designers or the tailors must be supported in this industry, and also other stakeholders, because being a fashion president, I'm not just talking about designers being a designer, but all the industry I'm talking about, the people who supply us machines. We have Kiembe people, Kiembe sewing machines. We have the people supplying us with fabrics. We have people teaching. We need journalists. people who can talk right about fashion, present nice pictures, not the pictures that people aim at, taking knickers for the models.
Yeah.
That's not what we are looking at. We are trying to address it nicely and properly. Yeah. So the reason why I'm doing that, abantu basobole okwekkiririzamu that guno omulimu gwa bbeeyi. DIT has already assessed us and many other centers that have been put outside there for people, the tailors who are already skilled, to go and be assessed so they can be accredited. If you have good thoughts, maybe you have a birowoozo ebirungi you want to table in the parliament, you can as well be able to stand as a parliamentary, as an MP. You get a point. But before, luli babadde batuita omutunzi. Abo batunzi. Like minimizing. When you fail exams, try okutunga. It's not for failures. This is for really genuine people with brains, because there's a lot of mathematics, there's so much geometry, statistics in clothing. Come on, you cannot fail elsewhere and think you're going to try. Try it this side. Yeah.
It is a Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila. And of course, this morning on the program, or this evening or night, afternoon, depending on which part of the world you're actually watching the program from, it's coming to you live from Kampala. And in the studio is the one and only Faisal Kiwewa from Bayimba Foundation. He's back on the show. He's a resident panelist. And today, Faisal, we have a very interesting human being. A boy known from the West Nile part of the country, and Abdulfata Rashid. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Great.
No, I don't want to cover Egypt.
Yes. Well, and just to make Abdulart, just to make people know, and of course I want to welcome every one of you out there back to the show today. And of course Abdul is from Abdulart, Uganda. If you have been following his work, he's a contemporary artist, street artist. He's a graffiti artist, as well as an educator, art educator in Kawempe, a division of Kampala City. And of course, doing some great things there, inspiring lives in that area. Abdul is going to be with us on the show. And today, the topic of discussion, gentlemen, is going to be centered around, community art and skill development is our topic today. I think it's going to be starting from you, Faisal, as a man who recently launched Umva Creatives, which is a platform for these guys to showcase their work. First, tell us about Umva Creatives and why are you particularly picking on art?
Yeah, thanks. I think welcome everyone to this today. The reason why we started Umva Creatives is because it came out of COVID, because there was a time when COVID had just started and we all thought it's going to take a week or a few days, and then it went into a month. Then the artists had started thinking, okay, I saved some money, and then after that, after 3 months, it had finished, and then they had to think about rent, they had to think about all other things that they need to do. And then it came out to be that actually, phone calls started coming. Oh, I need some help here, and it became a trend that artists were really running out and they needed some help. Even when the government came in to do some little support, it was not really enough. So we thought, how can we, now that we've learned that when we are in such a situation, we run out of resources very quickly, how can we make sure that artists can have somewhere they can sell their work that does not need physically to have them present or to have people present? And we took the example of like iTunes, Spotify, and all these digital platforms for musicians. It's not the same for like visual artists. Of course, visual arts works in galleries and exhibitions and fairs. So we thought that creating a platform where visual artists can put up their work and it can be sold online without them being present, and they can receive their money at home. That's why we started Umva Creatives.
Wow. And Abdul,
yeah,
welcome to the program. First of all, who is Abdulfata?
Abdulfata Rashid is my name. I'm from Kawempe. I was born in Luwaga Hospital. I'm a professional in my kind of art I'm doing, like visual art, graffiti art. So I have tried to push forward my art, you get. So even I'm trying to get some different people who do my stuff, you understand. So there are those with disabilities, so they come and join me so that we can push our art forward in Uganda. So here, the problem or the challenge we get, people here don't appreciate, or it's like they appreciate, but they don't support us, you understand? So the way how I'm moving around in different areas, going, making different pictures, so art can speak everything, like that of COVID I did. So I try to make that part of art like that, so people can come and support us. But I finished that work before going or moving around, looking for those who can support us, but no one came out to support us anymore. So that's the challenge we have here in Uganda. So as we artists, it's like as the government is focusing on music, you understand? There are those who, like, as we say, musicians, they get awards, you get, but as they are putting us apart, they are not talking about us. I don't know why, but for me, what I'm trying to push the art at a high level so that we can speak as we artists, as we young generation. So I don't know whether you try out and move around it in the city and you find young young children down there, like trying to make something better for the world. They practice, but people just pass around them, you understand? They don't help them, you just see them, you understand? Yeah, so that's my issue, and that's how, for me, I want the government to help. Even though they don't help me, but they can help those who are needed. You understand?
Okay. So Abdul, but first, before we even go to government, Faisal here is government himself.
Retired.
Yeah, Faisal is government. He has a whole state house in Lunkulu, where he sits and do his stuff from there. And you've heard about Umba Creative. But I want to take you straight, Abdul. It's interesting that you talked about this now, that art is not very much appreciated, and people who do visual art and paint artists are not very much appreciated. But I want to take you straight to, how did you end up being an artist?
I started doing art in 2018, but now people, like, I've spent like 5 years doing art. So someone can see my work on the wall. You get, him or us, like, can know that I've spent a lot of years doing this art on the walls. So I stopped in S4.
Okay.
You understand? And I started doing art. It's like I had my friends. You understand? So I told my friends, why don't you come and join me? As like there's no work anymore, like, so that we can push art forward. So I started doing that art in 2018. So I got a challenge. I went with my work at Uganda Road. You understand, like, so that they can support us. But the bad thing, I went there, they just told me my work is still, I have to go back home and practice so that I can take them nice work.
Yes.
You understand? So after getting their words, or after understanding their stuff, what they are saying to me, so I went back home and started practicing. So I started doing this work of art on the wall. That's why it's 2019. So 18 I was doing these portraits, this small painting, this hanging painting. It was a big challenge because I had no money on that time. You understand? People were not supporting us. It's like even my mom didn't support me anymore. You understand? So for me, what I did, I went to some guys, asking them money so that I can buy my materials and come back home and do that type of art. So after doing that art on the wall, I got my guys who helped me to push my career forward. And there is a guy whom I met. That guy is called Jafes Isubuka. So that guy taught me art up to now. You understand? So he taught me how to mix colors. You understand? How to make canvases. You understand? For me, I didn't know how to make canvases. You understand? And I didn't know how to mix colors. Or like I can get like red and black and yellow to bring out that brown color. I didn't know that. So even yellow plus blue, yeah, you can mix it and you get green. I didn't know everything. So after getting all of those techniques from that guy, I started doing my own stuff. You understand? Forcing us like taking art in the high level. You understand? As the guys told me, I have to practice everything so that I can take my work there, they buy. So I started doing that work slowly practicing. So the challenge I had, I didn't have a workspace. You understand? It was so tough on those days. On that days, people were like just calling me to do their work. You understand?
Were they paying you?
On the phone, just sending me
When
money.
they called you to go and do their work, were they paying you?
Yeah, they were paying, but little money. You understand? They can give you, maybe someone can say, I need a painting, but I'm gonna give you 100. That 100 was so small because I have to buy paint, the facilitation. You understand? Even the people, it's like whom I'm working with, they also need money. You understand? But that's the challenge. Yeah, they can call you and it's like you paint here, they give you little money. So art is so powerful here. You understand? So they have to give us enough money so that we can push our career forward, so that we can be happy in it.
Okay. I want to take you straight to Faisal. Faisal, you've heard Abdul's story. Senior 4, dropped out, looking for what to do, and decided that I can't sit home all this time. I need to go into art, and before we know it, he's for a person who started doing art in 2018 to what we're seeing today. I must say he's pretty talented because there's a very short time, and more or less like competing with some really top artists that we have in the country. What do you have to say about this? And it's a story of many young people out there. You can see that Abdul has some bit of struggling with how do I get my work out? How do I get people to believe in me? How do I move on from here? You are a promoter and you've been promoting art for a while. What would you say to this young man and how would you help him to go?
No, I mean, it's a fascinating story, and it's a story of our generation. Most of us come from this background because you go back, like we will grow up, we were born in the war period, we grew up during the war, and then even though we're young, we didn't see how it happened. Then when we got out of that, however much we tried with our parents, they could not push us too much. And then we found ourselves, lacking support. And then you have to reinvent yourself. And I'm very proud of Abdulfata's, effort to reinvent himself, to find a meaning and a skill or something that is passionate for him and continue. But also, living in a neighborhood of challenges. Kawempe is a very challenging community. And however much I love, I'm a Muslim, and Kawempe is, it's our
Muslim community.
And it's also an effect. If you want to understand the level of poverty, not in the mind, but in terms of religious poverty, and the level of dropout in schools, it's very much within the Muslim communities. I look at Chibuli. I was born and grew up in Chibuli. When you go to Kawempe, when you go to all these Muslim communities, if you walk around, you find that they have children and they couldn't afford to take them to school. So they either choose secular education was not their thing, so they took them to madrasas and bilals. But again, you come back that they have been businessmen, they have been entrepreneurial and adventurous. So that's why most of the young people in these communities come out to do some crazy stuff, and they're very exciting, that are actually actually very communal. Because they are raised in communities. We grew up in communities, and you find most of the community entrepreneurs are Muslims, because you grew up with people around you. You're not growing up in a segregated or closed door. You're open to people. Your first approach is always back to the people, and I think it's a very good thing. But I think also for me the issue on the development of an individual like Abdulfata is really to look at to study the environment. Yes, we can do community work, but we also have to understand, if I want to grow, how do I move from one step to another?
Exactly.
And I think, for me, one thing I noticed being a programmer in this business is that people like spectacles. People want to see things are amazing. And not in terms of like just color or but concepts. And so I think one of the things that I really think maybe you need to think about, I've seen your work, it's amazing. I think you need to work on, maybe in the next 2 years, work on 1 or 2 masterpieces. Work on 2 masterpieces that you will take your time. As we said earlier, graffiti takes time, needs patience. You need like 2 or 3 masterpieces that someone will be like, wait a minute, what was that? Who did that? And then you start looking out, you can start selling those works, because I know so many graffiti festivals around the world. I know a friend of mine is having a space in Antwerp in Belgium, and I was visiting his graffiti. It's amazing. It's amazing. So they invite all these graffiti artists, and they come from around the world, and they spend there for 6 months working on pieces. So you need to start looking out for those places where you can go and share your work, but you have to go when you're ready. You have to go when you have something you're sharing, when you have a story. And I also like the concept of topics like COVID and stuff like that. I think it has been a very trending concept these days, which is right. I think we need to talk about artists, speak about things that are happening in society.
I mean, well, they are using artists to communicate about COVID-19.
So that's the challenge is, how do you monetize that? How do you make it, of course, it's really difficult to sell graffiti. It's not like a fashion show or cloth or a song or a piece of art. But how do you move your graffiti work from the wall to the market? Because I don't remember the last time I went to Kawempe, so I'll never see your work. But how do you get your work from that wall to
Kampala Road? Or to Faisal's office.
Exactly, or to anyone, to Eddie's show. Have a print or create something that. So we need to think around, how do we monetize? The way you do those paintings, and people buy them or donate them or whatever it is. So we need to think around, how do you monetize your work from the wall to your pocket?
Well, Abdul, yes, we're going to take a break, but you can add to that.
Okay, so let me tell you this. I have like 3 masterpieces, that of COVID. One is in Kawempe, one is in Kamocha. But on that day, I try to go and meet those who will manage to take our stuff for us, so that we can produce more work in Uganda. One day I met Ruth Acheng. I went with a proposal. I wrote everything. It wasn't easy to meet her. But I went there, I introduced my work, I told her that
how they can use your work and that to communicate, teach people about COVID-19 and what COVID-19 is.
What she told me, I will call you, you understand? So as we tell that, no one is like, we can take work to different people.
Did Dr. Honorable Ruth Acheng call you back?
No, didn't call me. That's the problem we have. You understand? As you say that we have to bring out the why we take it so that they can support, but no one can do that, you understand? As I tried on that day, you understand? But
but you don't stop, Abdul, when you go to one office, you don't stop. What Faisal is saying, you need to keep knocking, continuous knocking of the door, opening the door to people. If you go one time and you get frustrated, the next time you're not going to go. I mean, Faisal here can tell you his story of how much he had to go through before Bayimba can be birthed.
Yeah.
Did you know that Faisal had to work somewhere for so many years for his dream to come to pass? Yes, so you have got to be that.
But also, like when I was doing my first festival, I think, and I put it on record, I wrote 1,000 proposals, which I sent out to all, and you know how hard it is. You're really hustling. You're saving. You're tapping on your saving, and you have to print all these proposals nicely, put them in an envelope, deliver them to the
1,000.
1,000, and no one called back.
Yeah, that's not true.
Hold it right there, gentlemen. We're gonna have to go for a break, and when we come back, we're going to listen to how Faizal's 1,000 proposals, will help Abdul and learn how to sell his work and to make it better. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this break. This is a Creative Industry Talk. Eddie Okila, Faisal Kiwewa, Abdulfata Rashid of Abdulart UG. We'll be right back after this break.
If you create a space which enables people to think and thrive, that's a bonus. Before I started working officially, I used to do a lot of freelance work. And as a young freelancer, my laptop was on my back. And I didn't have an internet connection. I didn't have an office desk. It was difficult for me to work at home. So what I did is I would go and sit in a restaurant, buy some tea or breakfast, and ask for a Wi-Fi password. And then I would sit there and have my breakfast slowly, as I did my work, and I sent work to clients and everything, But before long, lunchtime, it would be lunchtime, and they would
be forced to eat also.
They would bring you lunch menu. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So when you find a space where people can come and sit and pay for a full day.
10,000, I'm told.
Yes, you see, that is creativity. Because the owner of this building or the owner of this space knows that people, there's a certain segment of the market that can't afford to rent a premises per square meter or 10 square meters or 100 square meters and pay monthly and bring their own furniture, their own internet connection, carpeting, light and everything, a working bathroom, and then lunch for staff members. So they think about it creatively and they say, how many people can this space take? 100 people per day. Okay, good. If each of those people pays 10,000 per day, and they come and have access to the internet and a nice chair and a desk and a good environment where they can concentrate and deliver. That is brilliant. That is creativity in the workplace.
Hello everyone. By the names, I'm called Abdulfata Rashid. For me, art is my passion. To many, art can be described in sharing one's thought, vision, motion, and even dance. Let us see how art in Uganda has
Welcome back to the program. This is a Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila, and in the studio is Faisal, Kiwewa, and Abdulfata. We're talking about creative arts. We're talking about skill development in the art industry, as well as community art. How do you tell the story of a community from using your work and using your talent and changing the lives of people in the community where you are? Abdul surely is a very big inspiration in his community in Kawempe, and you can see the move there. You've seen that video with a deaf and dumb guy trying to communicate to us about his work and what he's trying to do and the learning. That is what Creative Industry Talk is all about. Creative Industry Talk is a conceptually grounded program that brings together all the people in the art and craft business, music, creativity, everyone who is in a creative industry to come together to have a discussion, to expose our works and to link ourselves to the market. And of course, to bring people like Faisal who are doing it to come and share ideas, people like Abdul to come and share ideas. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program. Abdul, first we want to go back to your root from Arua. You are a Lukbara from Arua, that's what we understood. Yes.
So he's a Jaffa cousin.
Yes, Jaffa from Arua. So let's talk slightly a little bit more. Somebody just asked me, says, that's a son, I read from your post, somebody was sending a message from the post that you were a son of Arua and they want to know how they can support you. And the person was saying, you have people like Jaffa Eta who is doing great stuff. Why isn't your work part of the work that he's doing? Maybe this is a moment for us to link you up there. But let's talk about your route from Arua. Yes.
Actually, I'm a Rugba from Arua, so I have grown up here in Uganda, in Kampala.
Okay.
Even the bad stuff, like I don't know how to speak that language. I just speak Swahili and English, Uganda.
Yeah.
That's all, but I don't know that language.
The language, yes.
Yeah.
So how come you've not been able to go back home?
Actually, I haven't.
Because Arua people will give you mercy.
Yeah. It's like this. It's like my dad died. You understand?
Yeah.
For me, I stopped going in Arua. I was young.
Yeah.
And that day was 7 years.
Okay.
Up to now, I haven't gone there. There is some issues like which can't allow me to go back there. You understand?
Okay.
But for me, what I can do to go back is like my art can take me, go there and support them. Like I can go there and make different pictures which can speak and which can tell people stop doing this. That's the only stuff I can do. I'm staying with my mom right now, and my sisters and brothers. We are 7.
Yeah.
So even my mom's not going there. It's like we just staying here in Uganda, trying to take our life forward. Yeah.
Okay. I want everybody, Faisal, that's Abdul work right there. And you can see that work right there. And I want everybody out there to share that as far as possible. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
That work is at Tura Road. Yeah.
This is part of your coronavirus. Yes. What does this mean, Abdul?
Actually, it's mean that the meaning of that art is showing, like you are saying, the officers, the soldiers, they are trying to give food to the people. You understand?
Or in the van, in the truck.
That truck. Even the world, you are saying the globe, showing the virus is attacking everywhere.
Yes.
You understand? So as you see in this man here, there are some people behind, they are trying to pray. You understand? Yeah, they are praying so that the virus can go.
Yeah.
You understand? So that guy you're seeing there, that gentleman, is a guy, the owner of BTM television.
Okay.
Yeah, he tried to support me and do that work.
Okay.
You understand? So even I have a lot of paintings. I'm having like that of Magufuli is also Turaro.
What was the inspiration behind
the inspiration is like the day a guy died.
You painted that?
Yeah, I just painted that so that I can represent in my work to the whole Tanzania. You understand? I'm having my friends there, so for me I just painted.
Like a tribute.
Showing them that even in this side we are so, it's like, I don't know how I can speak, but it was so, it was so powerful. Yes. So I had to paint that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have at one point reach out to try and take this work to, if you just put that work up, would you been able to take it to the Tanzanian High Commission, basically to say this is a tribute from me and my people in Kawempe?
Yeah, it was hard me to go there. You understand? Even I just had my friend, they were sharing the work. You understand? They are just sharing to their friends in Tanzania.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I want you to hold it right there, Abdul, and I want to go to Faisal. Faisal, certainly Abdul has something to offer to the world.
Yeah.
And mentorship management is needed in Abdul's life. He's got the talent, he's got what it takes to get there, but we need to help Abdul to expose his work. Ideally, Abdul had a very good plan that most of us talking about in this community would never have thought about, that a president of another country died, he had his little friends, and he said that my little friends are mourning their president, we are mourning with you guys. He painted the picture on that same day. Ideally, this should have gone to the Tanzanian High Commission to communicate with the people of Kawempe. And you know, it looks little, but this is a big thing. How would you help this young man?
No, but I think, you know, we have to also differentiate. I think Abdul's concept is not really necessary that you painted the work to go to the embassy.
Yes.
But I think, you know, he's a community artist.
Yes.
So there is a, in him, I think, there is a feeling of sharing, because he wouldn't do the same in Nakasero or at Kisementi. There's no space for that. But because he knows this community and this is where he lives, so he felt sharing his tribute with his colleagues in Tanzania in the space he knows is a way of also sharing it with the community in Kawempe. And I think that's really very strong and relevant. And for me, it also goes back, like, what does it mean to be a community artist? What does it mean to to work within a community whereby you are all in the same boat, but maybe no, what did they say? You are in the same storm, but in different boats. Yeah. So so I think here, for me, if you are working for a community, there are certain things that you have to do for the sake of the community, and where you're not expecting to earn from. And if you're working for yourself, it doesn't mean that if you're working for yourself, you don't work for the community, or when you're working for the community, you don't work for yourself. So I think there is a need for a differentiation here in terms of, like, what do I do for my community and what do I do for myself? Because at the end of the day, you need to survive. You need revenue. You need to pay your bills or support your mom as well with your siblings. So I think
you are doing that because you want to earn.
Exactly.
So that you can improve onto your life, so that you can, like you said.
So for me, I think the advice would be, like, what is the relationship between your community work and the work and your business? You know, if you think your community work is your business, then you have to have a model that is going to work to help you to earn from that community work. But then it ceases to be community and it becomes your business. You get what I mean? So when we work for our communities in the arts community, we work for them. We actually invest in them, you know, and then for us to survive as individuals, we have to find other alternative sources of revenue. And that's where I think Abdul has to think around and say, okay, my graffiti, my community education, my what, my area is where I feed my community with my skill and time and investment. But for me as a person, I need to find my own business revenue.
So in other words, Faisal, what you're saying is that what we're seeing up being put on the screen the
It's
art
public
pieces on
art.
street, yes.
It's public
So for
good.
example, Abdul, what Faisal is saying that you can sell that art piece. So
Exactly.
that should be in somebody's office. That should be in my office. That should be in Faisal's office. That should be in my sitting room. It reminds me that this work is painted by a community, by Abdul in this community, and I have it in my home. It makes me feel good. So what is the cost of that? Have you ever attached the cost to that?
Actually, I'm doing different paintings. I do all branding right now.
Okay.
So as you say that I need like to do community work and do other business. So I'm doing White Star. I'm doing White Star. You don't know White Star Magic?
No.
So that's Walbury soap.
Yes.
And I'm doing Cowboy. It's like people get my number, call me. For me, what I do, I paint my street art on the wall. I put my number there. You know, everyone is passing there. Everyone passing on my paintings. Okay, so I don't just paint there. I just paint. Then after writing my name, then I put my number. So I'm getting more my business. People calling me, Abdul, I want you to paint my picture. Can you? Yes, I can paint. You understand? Even there's those companies like that of White Star, they call me, Abdul, can you do wall branding art on the walls? Yes, I can do. You understand? Even like to do community work in Kawempe, it's like I can't move from Kawempe to other side. You understand? It's very difficult for me to go in town. You understand? Or in Nakasero. You understand? People ask a lot of money to brand your stuff, to put your work. That's why I'm mainly working in there in Kawempe. And it's very difficult for me to move from Kawempe and go to Masaka. You understand? That's a big challenge.
But I think it is. I think you can move to Masaka.
I can.
I mean, graffiti is also about resistance, resilience, and what is it about? You know, it's also advocacy. You know, like when you're doing a mask, the Corona campaign. Corona is not only for people in Kawempe to know about. It can also work in Masaka. It can work in Toro. But I think the challenge is, how do you find those spaces?
Yes.
I mean, graffiti, like there's a mural here, I don't know, at Aldeons. I don't know whether you saw it.
And on that, people ask me money to paint my work there.
Yes.
I don't just go there, just putting it, you understand?
Yes, Faisal. I mean, we have a very interesting, this is a story of every person in the art, particularly a young person like Abdul here. I mean, the story of Abdul is a story of many people out there. It's just because somebody was able to get Abdul to come to this platform, we would never have known. I was telling you a few weeks ago, I interacted with Abdul. My friend GNL was doing his shop and meet and greet with the people. So we were in Muyenga, and
that's a piece of.
That's a piece of GNL, a mural of GNL.
The new
painted,
GNL.
Yes, painted in Kawempe. So we're in Muyenga, and then somebody brought him to basically showcase the work, and GNL was very busy, but somebody squeezed and squeezed to make sure Abdul come. When the young man came, what really turned out to be very fascinating, he had a tablet with a video of him painting GNL and how the mural will look like when it's finished and where it's going to be. And all he wanted was to present. Then he presented also another art piece to GNL, a picture, a portrait of GNL, you know, painted.
That was art drawing.
Yes, a
pencil drawing.
A picture drawing of GNL. And GNL was very emotionally attached. This is so, this is nice. He took him back to the whole days of hustling as a boy from Kawempe to making it. So I could see that GNL was, reconnected to his roots of saying, this boy, what he's giving to me right now is a story of where I was many years ago. Yes, I went through, I was able to pull through, now I'm here. He had to go and see him. A day after that, I think over the weekend in Kampala, GNL had another, stuff that was doing. So this time around, somebody really literally held his hand and brought him to me and say, you know Abdul, and he does this great work. And I had heard about a young boy in Kawempe, I'd seen him, but now it piqued my attention when he started talking about his story from Arua and the stuff he talked about. Then I said, this could be a story of so many people in creative. All right. And I realize that Abdul is limited to where his work can go.
Yeah.
Who he can go to. It's about connection, who you know, and how you can expose your work. Faisal, you are into this space, and you've been promoting art for a while. And the boys we see there are his buddies in Kawempe, and I supposed you had painted that. So what's that art piece about before I ask Faisal the question?
That work was about COVID. As you see in that girl, she was crying. You understand? So even you're seeing a man here is coughing, then in the middle you're seeing the hands with the chain.
Yes.
So the hands with the chain, I talked about our whole world, not only Uganda. So as you saw, like people are dying a lot in China, UK, Japan, you understand? So even I wrote some words like stay safe, wear your mask, you understand? So that everyone can pass and read, and than just making art piece, you understand? So for me, what I do, what we did, we just wrote some small words there. Then we made the globe behind, showing every country is like dying of COVID. Yeah.
Okay, Faisal, you've heard this story. How do we then you're in the space of promoting art? And of course, Bayimba is big. Bayimba has given so many people a platform to go out there. Some artists would never have made it to the world platform if Bayimba did not go through this. But this was all because Faisal went through a very hard time, defined himself, created Bayimba, which is now employing as many people as possible. But if Faisal was like Abdul saying, I don't know how to get from Chivuli to Netherlands, to the US and to France, there's no way out, Bayimba would have gotten there. How would you, what advice would you offer to Abdul right now, and how would you help Abdul to move from point A to point B as an elder in this business?
I think, we've talked through some of the things, and what I see is that of course, graffiti is very challenging to sell. Yeah. It's not a common art form that you can find in everyone's interest. Yeah. And it's also very, it has always been branded as a rebel art form. Yeah. You find people always, complaining about their buildings being sprayed with cans. Yeah. And in Europe, it's illegal in some countries. And that's why because it's an art form that is appreciated because of the message, the strong message it brings, and the color. That's why some countries and cities had to decide on where, or designate certain areas where graffiti is allowed. Like in Berlin, there is the Berlin Wall. Every year they bring new artists to paint. There are some masterpieces that are not removed, but you can walk it for kilometers. One wall with all sorts of graffiti paintings. So, and they invite big artists. I talked about the Antwerp, I talked about in Nairobi, there are festivals of graffiti. So I think what needs to be done, for Abdulfata is really to kind of think around how do you promote your work beyond where you're doing it in Kawempe. And of course, it can be challenging to be, also scary to say, how can I go and just find someone's building and just paint it? Yeah, but that's the spirit of graffiti. You can have that aspect of you, or you stick to community graffiti where you only work with topics that are about your community and that you know that you're comfortable, and in a space that you know that you're working in within. But I like your approach of it's not only that work that you're doing, you're looking at, but you also go out and try to sell your work to other people and try to collaborate. I think, for me, I really think you can grow as an artist, and I think you can also expound on your skill as a graffiti artist, but you just need to invest in yourself more. As much as you're struggling and trying to make ends meet, you can also try to stick out what are other graffiti artists doing, who is trending, what are they working on, and how can I get to that level? Where can I sell my work? Or where can I present yourself? You apply to festivals, you apply to graffiti programs, you try to, get out of this comfort zone. I'm not saying it's your comfort zone, but get out of this community and take your work out And then later on you realize that actually it will give you much more impact with the work that you've done in the community.
And seek for opportunities to land as much as possible, and look for people like Faisal. Now you've met Faisal, you can write to Faisal and say, I want to join one of the programs at Bayimba, to land. And then, more education you have, more exposure you have. So those are the opportunities you have to get your work out there. Now, Faisal and Abdul, we're going to hold it right here for a moment and go for another break, a coffee break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila. Faisal Kiwewa, Abdulfata of Abdulart UG, based in Kawempe, contemporary artist, and of course the graffiti artist and art educator out of Kawempe division, a suburb of Kampala City. Inspiring live there on the program today. And this program is all about exposing Abdul and his work, and of course talking about how skill is developed in community and how it can be exported away. Stay right there, I'll be right back after this break, but share it far and wide. Welcome back from that break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila, live here on House of Talent Television. Please catch up with this program and share it far and wide. It's a conceptually grounded program that looks at the contemporary art and of course the art in general. We're looking at the creative industry in general. Creativity lives and sleeps in our bed. And it lives in our sitting room, it lives in our cars, it lives in our industries. You know, you meet people who are building, are all creative, engineers are creative people.
Sometimes in the kitchen. Also.
Yeah, sometimes in the kitchen, Faisal said. But gentlemen, welcome back to the program. And before we went for the Faisal, you're offering some advice to Abdul on how he can get his work out there. And this program today is all about getting Abdul to understand how he can get his work out there and what he can do. He's a contemporary street artist. Just to remind you, he's a graffiti artist, and you've seen his work out there. and of course is an art educator. We're going to go to that part of being an art educator. First of all, Abdul, this comes to you.
Yeah.
What does an art educator do?
Art educators
Yes.
do like I go in the community, get some people. We go like we start. I start teaching them art, and my art speaks in the community. I go there, then like, I start painting. Stop doing this, do this. You understand? That's the only thing I do. In the community, teaching the young children.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay, so we're going to run through some of the pictures right there. So what was the inspiration behind that, and how were you teaching using that?
The inspiration that it is an elephant, you understand? There are those who love elephants in the community. There are those who like those patterns in the community. You understand? So if someone finds me painting such an piece like that, it can be inspired by like, can you teach me that work? I just say yes, I can. Or we can talk about the income, or the way how he can
make money.
Yeah, that's it. So
I like this one.
That what it is.
We know why Faisal like this one. Is into the music promotion. Yes, tell us more.
That what that is it is in 3D art. You understand? So it is short media. They called me to come and do such the kind of art. The word it is.
That's in the studio.
Yeah,
that's the studio.
Yeah, it's the
that's
studio. Yeah, that's short media, the studio. So the word is the gang, but it is in the abstract way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we call abstract art.
Yeah, but 3D abstract.
Yeah.
There are two walls. You understand?
Yes.
Maybe you can see that corner.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
So I just made a sketch. You understand? As you're seeing, the gi is touching the other side, and gi. You understand?
Yes.
They're all gis, yeah?
Yes.
There is one on the left and one on the right.
The right, okay.
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. Let's go to the next one.
I thought salt is very religious.
Yeah.
I
no,
think
it's not.
Yes,
Sorry.
I'm assuming that yes.
So that work was it was my first time to make that work. That was in 2019. So that work, as you see that lady, she's from Rwanda. She's a Rwandan. So I made that work showing her the love. The love. We have all love. We are giving everyone love. As you see is smiling, as you see the seated down, the tax. So I made that work show the country that we are free. Oh, Kampala is okay. You understand?
Yeah. So as an art educator, what did you want us to learn from? What did you want?
As you're saying, the lady smiling. So you have to talk with everyone smiling. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, not just abusing, doing what. Okay. So that one, it has it's that one day near Kakande's church.
Okay.
So it was teaching about people how to wear their mask. You know, everywhere they go, you have to put the mask.
Okay.
Understand?
So that's
the thing that was there, stay safe. So everyone used to put the mask. So after seeing that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking to Abdulfata from Abdulart, and of course Faisal.
Yeah.
But first, before I go to you, I want to go back to Abdul. So, how much do art educators make? Like
actually,
yes. How much do you make?
Approximately, the size depends. The size. If someone wants a portrait, like that of art pencil drawing, if free, it can cost you 360.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand. And the A2, that's 250. Then there is A1. It's big. The flame is big.
Yeah.
That will cost you 500, 700. So for the wall, it also depends. For me, what I can do, I just come and see how the space looks, and you have to show me the picture and see, so that I can tell you the price. But the price which I can charge you, it depends. If the wall is small, I can charge you, or I will charge you 1M, 800, you understand? But it depends on the picture, how it looks, you understand? So for 3D art is kind of expensive because I take my time to design that work. And the work, as you say, it is 3D, it is unique. You understand?
So when you say it's kind of expensive,
yeah,
we want to Faisal and I want to know what is this, because the people who are watching the show would want to know how to support you. So this is a way that you get people to support you. So kind of expensive. How much is 3D? We know that 3D work all over is expensive, Faisal. But yes,
approximately 2M, 1.5.
Okay, for around, 3D work.
Yeah, for a 3D work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Then for paintings, painting on the canvas, it also depends the size, but the start is at 600, 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Faisal, Abdul is not starting from a very bad place. He has learned his lesson the hard way. He's not charging 50,000 and then he goes and borrows money to buy the paint to put the thing there. He's getting there. Faisal. You've heard from Abdul. I want to just dive to you quickly. 2 questions. Where do art educators really work?
I mean, as Abdul has said, in communities. But not only in communities. Of course, we are professional art educators. I think Abdul and I come from this self-made, self-educated, passionate, community concerned citizens that we find ourselves in places where we say, let's give our contribution to this community. And I don't think we put a price to that. I don't think someone can, if I am doing professional work, I charge $350 a day. If I am going to go to the community, I won't do that because you're trying to share your time and your skill with the community. So art educators really look out. It has been a branded, it has been a kind of a socially public good branded title. If you're an art educator, then you work for a community. That's a free service. But if you are an art educator and need to earn a living, then you have to be a professional art educator where you have a curriculum, a program that you're offering to a paying audience. So this for me that what it is.
Okay. And Faisal, I mean, you've been of course traveling quite a bit. You are a resident panelist in the program. You're more exposed, and Abdul is speaking a lot from you. What is an art teacher called? World over. Because for this kind of art that we're talking about,
teacher is teacher. I mean, you can be a teacher but not teaching art, but you're a teacher. Like I have a friend of mine called Greg Mwenda from Nairobi. We call him Mwalimu, teacher, even if he doesn't teach a class. But because he's very much about sharing knowledge, sharing skill, I think Babaluku is a teacher. Because you find
he's a philosopher.
He's a teacher. Sensen is a teacher. There are people who you don't need to be in a class to teach. I teach a lot, and I don't call myself a teacher, but I think I am a teacher as well. As I find a lot of fulfillment, but when I share my knowledge and skill and my experience with the young people and young creatives. So. And a teacher is really someone who has an idea of what they are working in, but also understanding it and being diverse, because sometimes you might find someone who is in a specific discipline and that's all they can explain to you. But finding someone who is more multifunctional in their skill of teaching, it's very, very useful for a teacher to know where the process starts and where it goes, just like my friend Peter said.
Process by process. Yes. All right. Abdul, and we want to just go back to you slightly, and before we wind up the show today, this part of the program today was talking about skilling the community, and we can see that you've been skilling the community. But first, we want to know from you. So, how has this process been going, and how have people received this? And are you seeing their life changing? And if yes, which part of their life is changing that is giving you, happiness? That even though you go and put your money and time, like Faisal said, in the community, life is changing. Sometimes we're doing things in the community and people remain the same. and you get frustrated, they're not moving.
Yeah.
Like you have to move. While you move up to now charging, you know, 300, 400, there must be another artist you're training or coming from a community who is charging 50,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 to 100,000, so that those who cannot afford 300,000 in the community, like these small people who have, you know, people who have small shops and want to put a sign for their shop, you know, to communicate with them, there should be somebody you are training that produce work that fits within their bill or within their budget. Do you see that happening? Can you share that with us very quickly?
Actually, for me, what I can do, I can help. You understand? As you said, that how people get into my heart or my style. I have a lot of people, but they come and join me of what I'm doing. You understand? In the community. So people appreciate, though they can't give me money, but they appreciate. You understand?
Okay.
They give me their children's to come and join me, so that I teach them. If I get work, I go in the community, then I share the work with the guys.
Okay. So do these people, when they come to you, when parents send these children to you and you train them, do you actually see them doing this work? And when you see them doing how do you feel like?
Actually, I feel good because there is a girl called Diana. Now she's doing great work. You understand? So if I get work, if I am having more work, I share to her to do and to finish everything.
Wow.
But even this of world branding, I can't do it lonely. You understand? So they can give me, they can say, Abdul, we're gonna do here in Kampala. You understand? So I go in the community, I call my guys, then you come and go, we go and work. So we go and finish everything in time. You understand? Maybe it's like a building, we can do it 2 days.
Okay.
You understand? But with my friends, with the community guys, yeah.
Okay. Faisal, skill development in our community, from you know, an art creator now, you know, title that you hold. We need to continue developing the skill in our communities, in our cities, in our nation going forward. And I want you to share with us, from your experiences, you've been going quite a lot, traveling around the world and seeing these things in different, you know, countries. What would you share with us today that we can pick from your experiences where you've been going, that we can do down here at home and make it better in Africa, and which Abdul can pick, you know, lessons from to go back and continue to impact the lives of people in these communities? Yes.
Yeah, I think when as we said at the beginning, like we are, as a community of citizens, we always like to be inspired. And graffiti normally is about inspiration. You might say piece of mask, a piece of but for example, for me, when I see most of the graffiti work, much of this work is conceptual, it's abstract. People don't understand it. But if we could start from the area where people understand, like for some of our icons, just imagine in Kawempe you have a beautiful graffiti wall of Geoffrey Riema, of Philip Bongole Utaya, of Paul Cafero, of Fred Sebata. All these, like, you know, Peterson.
I think he has one already there of
Peterson. But then, of course, great piece. Great piece. But then
it's a recent thing. We need something.
So we're looking at like, how can we also start presenting work that is going to inspire our people, people that people need to remember. You know, like Peterson Mutebi, you know, like Mistusera Segamwenge, all these people, the Byron Kawadwas. There are so many Ugandans that are very, very people are attached to. Just for example, like if GNL is emotionally attached to his graffiti wall mural, and then what is he going to do? He'll push it. He'll push his wall. So if Cliff Mutebi comes and sees his father's mural of Peterson Mutebi on the wall, he'll push it because he finds it that inspiration. And that's meaning that you're growing your community. You're not just skilling them with hands-on, but you're also empowering them to feel proud of who they are and who are their parents or their ancestors are. So I think we need to start looking at how do we celebrate our own? How do we celebrate? I like the Rwandan piece. And I know, because when he was explaining the love of the city, I know there has been conflict and tension between Rwanda and Uganda. It speaks volumes, but at the same time, it is detaching from the Ugandans. They're like, you know, how do we cultivate our own people, to appreciate their own history. When you look at bigger cities, they always find those people that are very related or connecting to them. Yeah. The conceptualization is also about, because there's someone saying that, no, I need to speak my mind, but you also need to connect to the community.
Thank you.
How does the community relate to this kind of work? This mural, which is at Alliancia, was done by a German team. But you find the way they were trying to create, in its abstract, they also try to bring in the Ugandan aspect of it by having the crane in as part of the concept. So how do we connect our work to cultivate the love and the appreciation of our own communities, and also try to grow, make it as much better and much, sophisticated in a way that it shows the maturity of your work, So for me, this is what I'd like to say, that scaling is not only about giving people hands-on skills, but it's also cultivating their minds, inspiring them, making sure that you are exposing them, you're kind of challenging them to think differently, to attract a different mindset. Because honestly, here, for me, with my experience over the years, is like, it's very difficult to skill people. It's very difficult to contribute to someone's success, because how do you measure that? How do you get into someone's mind to make sure that they appreciate the knowledge that you're giving them at a moment? But I think when you do, as you are helping, it helps to take a step forward. It helps people, because for me with Bayimba, where we started, as you know, and where we are now, I felt like I've done 15 years of doing things for people and investing in other people. Then I realized I've not actually invested in Bayimba as an entity, except the brand. And then I said, okay, how do I continue to inspire people without losing the brand that I've built over the time? So I decided to invest in Bayimba, but at the same time helping people. So it gives someone to say that, okay, you've been here for 15 years, this is what you've done, you've worked with so many artists, where are you? I am going further, I'm going ahead, so that the next generation of entrepreneurs that are coming, they will also find that, okay, I can build myself, learn things within 10 years, but then I need to plan for the next 10 years. I think this is where we need to see that skilling people is not only just giving them something hands-on, but also developing them, inspiring them, but also making sure that you sustain yourself as an entity, so that you're able to continue and building onto your legacy.
All right, Abdul, your final parting shot. I think Faisal has done a very good, job in trying to summarize the skilling of the community while you do art in the community, what you need to do. If you look into this camera, and what will be your parting shot today, and what will be your lesson picked from here that you'd want everyone in Kawempe to know, and going forward, and how would you want them to find you?
Actually, I have learned more today. And what I'm gonna do going back in the community, as this guy told us here, so I have to teach them how we can take art forward and to empower them so that they can support others. And for those who want to find me, I stay in Kawempe, and everywhere I go, one day I have more work there. Maybe they can call me so that we can try out and do something better in Uganda. I think that's be better for it.
Okay. Faisal, your parting shot today? What's the lesson do you mean from that?
I'm very happy to meet with Abdulfata, and I think he's a very inspiring Kawempe guy, and also with being a Muslim. And I was actually very interested when he was talking about his coming from Arua. Then I realized that Kawempe is on the way to Bombo, so that's the route. That's the route. So you might have not, because that's the area. And being a Muslim, I really love the religion and the inspiration. But I also know the challenges of what it comes with. So coming out from this community and being able to, find yourself and try to invest in it, as well as trying to help yourself to grow individually, personally, and financially. It's really a very motivating thing. So we need to see more of these stories. We need to get more people from the different disciplines who are doing something for their communities and also trying to help them. So it was really nice to meet you, and I hope we'll work together sometime.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much, and thank you very much. First of all, Faisal, we have to share the love, and to Abdul, we have to share the love. And to all of you guys out there, thank you very much for keeping up with the Creative Industry Talk every single week, growing bigger and better. And to all the people in the diaspora, we want to say thank you. To all the people across the borders in Rwanda, in Kenya, in Burundi, in Tanzania, in the US, in Australia, and all of you guys, we want to say thank you very much. To all the brothers in Germany, thank you very much. We've been talking to Abdulfata Rashid of Abdulart Uganda. And of course, he's a contemporary artist. He's a graffiti artist and an educator, community educator, but a man who is very passionate about art and craft. And you can support him. You've heard of where he can be found. Please reach out to Kawempe, or find his phone numbers, or go to social media, check him out, and share this video far and wide. Faisal, of course, you already know him from Bayimba, and of course, we hope that Bayimba will come back with the festival in 2020.
Inshallah.
Right now, we don't know what is going on, but, but to everyone out there, we want to say thank you.
But we are hopeful. Yes. We are very hopeful.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. To stay hopeful is very important, and stay away from trouble. And to the camera crew here that makes things happy, thank you very much. To the production crew, thank you very much. And to all of you guys out there, share this far and wide. Until next week, Creative Industry Talk has come to an end. Eddie Okila, Faisal Kiwewa, and Abdulfata Rashid signing out.